Don't forget to put your numbers, please. Hey, Chu, what was the book by Nick Bostrom that you read? Was it Superintelligence, Global Catastrophic Risk, Human Enhancement?
It was the first one.
The first one. Okay, good. Yeah, I'm gonna check it out. Sounds really good. Let's see. 1, 2. Who's 3? So if you guys want to take a if you got to go to the bathroom or something. By the way, Ethan, your mic always does that. It like starts rising really slowly, and it like messes with me. I'm like, what's happening over there?
Oh, I have a standing desk.
I see.
And I need to alternate between standing and sitting so my legs don't die.
Yeah, true that.
So
if you guys want to add your numbers, please.
Oh, I gotta do that again.
Here. So how's
Is
everybody?
there a way to like have it permanently here?
Michael, what did you do to get yours?
When I here, let me look at it again. But if I remember right, I just clicked on participants, and then I went to my name and clicked on more, and then did the rename. And then when I finished renaming, it said, "Do I want to save this for future meetings?" And I said yes.
Okay. So my guess is, Robert, like, for example, I know on my end, I don't have to sign into Zoom to click on the link. Like if I click on a Zoom link, I can just access the meeting. But if I log into Zoom first on my browser or like on my desktop, and then I enter the Zoom meeting, it accesses my profile. So maybe that's how I'm wondering. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think it's something to do with that, because like sometimes when I log in, it shows my profile. Sometimes when I log in, it doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't have to log in, but when it asks for my name, it doesn't let the first letter, the first character be anything other than a letter.
Interesting. Okay. So how's everybody else feeling about everything? Tired?
Yeah, I'm a bit. I know two and a 3/4 hour, almost 3 hour lecture is a little draining.
I mean, you guys have pretty much been going at it since 10.
My point exactly.
I may have watched a movie during that time.
I've been loving it. I think that like Dr. Lobo is amazing in the way he explains
he's going to break it down for you.
Like it's really cool. It's just a lot to take in.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys this then, if you would, why don't you send me a quick message in chat here with what you would gauge your proficiency level with Python as on a 1 to 10. 1 being you've never seen it before, or maybe you've written like 1 or 2 lines, and then 10 being that you feel like you could get a job right now with Python if you had to. Just send me a quick chat.
You want it to be a private chat?
You can send it to me or you can send it to the group. I'm just offering you the option for privacy.
Weird thing is neural nets and this sort of stuff was my first exposure to Python. So I can do like neural nets with Python, but like if someone asks me like, hey, can you make like a dictionary or whatever, I have to look it up.
Totally understand. That's exactly what happened to me. So I've got so it's good. A lot of 3s. That's perfect. Honestly, it's easier for me if you're less proficient. I mean, it's always weird teaching somebody something that knows it already. You know what I mean? So here's what we're going to say. What if somebody said 11?
I mean,
Like-
like if you wrote your own Python package or literally made it, I think that would be worth an 11.
11. Okay. So here's the deal. Pretty much starting now, we're gonna start with software installation for this afternoon, and then tomorrow we'll move into some more Python and stuff. If you feel like you're completely competent and you know, the goal is that if you feel like you know what's going on, I encourage you to keep kind of keep an ear open to what's going on, but you don't have to devote your entire attention. Okay. Like you, Ethan, my exposure to Python began in a entirely computer vision sense. So it didn't, it didn't come from the angle of a developer or anything like that. Not to mention the fact that I didn't have a course. I had to teach myself pretty much everything, which is a cool thing about computer science because it's all on the web. So you just Google it and you can find out yourself. So my goal with these lectures is to try to minimize the amount of time required of entry, if that makes sense. So I would like everybody to be at least a 5 or a 6 by the time we're done here. My intention is not, excuse me, not to have you be a 10, but my intention is for you to know how to find anything that you need so that you can act as if you were a 10 with maybe a little bit more time. You know what I mean? So in my experience, the thing that takes the longest is determining which IDE do you use, which version of Python do you use, which Python package manager do you use. So what I've done is I've done my best to kind of put all that stuff down for you guys so that we can kind of jump right into the game. Does that make sense? By the way, just as a fun fact, Chu, you're like my favorite person here because every time you come on, you're eating something and I love it. It's like, I'm like, that's me. I'm like always eating something. So anyways, that's fun fact. So we're going to start today. If you already have a Python environment that you use, if you don't want to use Anaconda or whatever, if you're advanced enough, that's okay. But my recommendation is that you do everything like I say, unless you're 100% sure that you're not going to have any questions for me. Because if, for example, you decide to use Sublime instead of PyCharm, and you decide to use pip instead of Anaconda, and et cetera, use Python 2 instead of 3, then I may not be able to answer your questions if we encounter a problem, right? But by all of us using the exact same software and whatnot, it kind of minimizes the amount of problems that we're going to encounter, okay? So without further ado, let's jump right in. Actually, let me stop this share. Do a different share here. Can you guys see this PowerPoint?
Yes, I can.
Software installation. Okay. So everyone had a chance to download the Anaconda that we talked about? Yeah. Has anyone not downloaded that yet? Okay. So let's do it then. So anyways, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go through an Anaconda installation. Anaconda is basically going to be a package manager we're going to use. It's going to allow us to create virtual environments. We'll talk more about that. We're going to go through how to install packages that will be libraries that we'll use. We're going to install the PyCharm, which is the integrated development environment, the IDE that we're going to use. We're going to look at how to import and run code in PyCharm. And when I say import, I'm referring to from GitHub. And then that's the GitHub here. And then we're going to take a look at some Jupyter notebooks and Google Colab notebooks, okay? So the first thing, which I asked you guys to do yesterday, was to do the Anaconda Insulation. So if you haven't already, let's go ahead and let's just go ahead and download that now. And in that process, you should see probably some installation window that's going to look something like this. So why don't you guys go ahead? So who has already installed Anaconda?
I have.
Okay, actually, maybe I should say the other way around. Who hasn't? So you've installed it, but you haven't. You downloaded it, but you have not installed it. Who is that? Which is okay. That's encouraged. Robert, good. Okay, Robert, you're working on a what? A Windows machine?
MacBook.
MacBook, my man. Good. That's preferred. Mac is always better in my opinion. I hate Windows. So, but I don't hate Windows people. You're loved. Don't worry. So what we're going to do here is we're going to try to go through this process. Okay. So other than Robert, who has not installed Anaconda so far? So Robert, if it's all right with you, how about you share your screen and show us that process? Can we do that? Do you have Anaconda installed, or excuse me, downloaded already? We can't hear you, by the way. Breaker 19, do you copy? You're muted.
It's downloaded on my other computer, but I'm on the laptop because it has a camera. So I gotta re-download it.
That's okay. That's okay. All right. So then let's just go ahead and assume that everybody's downloaded it. If you haven't already, you can just go do it tonight. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the first thing what we're going to do is we're going to go and we're going to create a virtual environment. Now, for those of you on Windows machines, you kind of have two options to my knowledge. Okay. So basically what you're going to do is either use Anaconda offers a prompt window with it. Okay. So you can use the Anaconda prompt window, or you can use something called MOBA Xterm, which is like a shell for Windows. Has anybody used MOBA Xterm before? Okay. So it's kind of up to you. So for those of you who are using Windows machines, then I would probably start with the Anaconda prompt. So who's using Windows machines? Let's see if we can. Windows. And then Zane, you're on a Linux subsystem?
Okay, so I have Windows, but I also have Ubuntu for like WSL.
Okay, good. And then Tess, you're a Mac?
Yeah, I'm on a Mac.
I could just see it. I can tell. I just know Mac people. All right, that's good. So, and the reason I like Mac so much is because it's it's Unix based. So a lot of the code that we use for Linux that we're going to use for GPU clusters and blah 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 stuff like that, you're going to use the same syntax for writing on a Linux cluster as you would a lot of the times in a Mac terminal. So let's pick a guinea pig. Who would like to share their screen on a Windows, whoever's using a Windows machine, and share your screen and create a virtual environment for us using the Anaconda prompt? Any volunteers? Okay. Hold on, let me think. It's not Sun, it's Sun. Yeah, okay. Sun J or Sun G?
Yeah.
Okay, Sun J. So why don't you share your screen and use this if you want to copy this real quick here. We're going to use something to that effect. And nice. So here's the Anaconda prompt. Perfectly done. Love it. Okay. So let's all pick a name. So I think we should use lowercase REU 2020. Does that sound okay for everybody for our virtual environment name?
You probably want to use 2021.
Oh my God, wrong year. 2021. That's
I
what
mean, it
happens.
still feels like 2020, so I don't
That's
blame you.
quarantine. That's quarantine. What it'll do to you.
Yeah.
All right. So conda create -n
Dash in.
-n. Yep. Not m, like the letter n by itself,
Right.
like name. Yep. REU 2021. Good show. And then space Python equals, and let's use 3.7. Okay. And then after that, you're going to write Anaconda. Now, this little Anaconda word that we're adding at the end, what that tells our virtual environment is that we want to add in all of the standard Anaconda packages that come with the show. So for example, if you didn't write Anaconda there, you could, and say the only package you want in your virtual environment is TensorFlow, then you could just download TensorFlow by itself. But we want this virtual environment to have all the good stuff in it. So go ahead and enter that. And let's see what happens. So this could take a while. So all of our other window users, if you want to go ahead and replicate what he's doing here. And for our Windows users, it's actually the same exact syntax for this. I mean, excuse me, for our Mac users or Linux, those two are synonymous kind of from this point forward until I say otherwise. So for all of our Mac users, if you want to go ahead and type in the same exact thing he just did, and we'll go from there, okay? So yes, we want all of that. And while you're doing that, I'm actually going to do the same thing on my machine.
I guess I'll ask the proverbial question: why use the command prompt and not the Anaconda Navigator create environment button?
Simply because I've never used it. If you feel
That's a
comfortable,
valid reason.
yeah, if you feel comfortable using it, by all means. But this just kind of goes back to but the way I'm going to show you guys is definitely not the only way to do things. It is definitely a way I have found that minimizes problems using other things I've tried. So if you want to try something else, you're welcome to, but it kind of goes back to the whole, if you find yourself in quicksand, I may not be able to help you, that kind of idea. Okay. So Conda create.
So how do you know if you've already created one? Because I'm not sure if I already did that, because I installed Anaconda several years ago.
Yeah, so try just typing Conda first and see what happens.
Okay.
Like before creating this environment, there's already one called, it said like base parentheses root,
Right,
and that's
yes,
where I did all my stuff previously. So
so for the sake of the video, I'm doing the same exact thing on Mac. In the event that somebody tries to type Conda and it says, let me see, what did it say when I first did mine? If it
Conda
says
not
something, not command not found, is somebody encountering that?
No.
But in the event you do find command not found, it's because in order to use the term Conda by itself without any, because Conda is included in some directory on your machine, right? That in order to use that term, without doing any special stuff, you would have to type the prefix directories for where it lives, right? So for example, it would be like on my machine, it's /opt/Anaconda3 / et cetera, et cetera. But in the installation, during the installation process, there's a little button that says like, add this to my path. Did you guys see that?
yeah.
So if you add it to your path, what that means is that when you're working in your shell, you can type in conda and you don't have to type in all the super paths that belong to it. Okay, you can just type in, it's has to do with like relative paths, right? All right, so is anybody having any problems?
I activated mine.
You're good?
Yeah, mine just finished. So I guess, how do you switch between two environments?
Okay, yeah, hold on one second. So good.
I know you can do it through the Anaconda navigator.
All right, so
Actually, yeah, I think you can just like click on it. That works.
okay, so from the terminal on a Mac or from the Anaconda prompts on a non-Mac, right? So here we are, and if you look at the slides, let me hop over there real quick. Okay, so basically, in order to activate your environment, you're going to type in source, activate, and whatever your environment name is. Now, in the case of a Windows machine or the Anaconda prompt, you just type in activate and your environment name. So for us, it'll be activate REU 2021. Right, so I'm going to do that here. So if you look, you can see that it says MacBook Pro Robert Browning. So I'm not in my environment right now. So let me type source activate REU 2020. Okay, then once I've done that, you can see out front, see how it says REU 2021 now? Is everybody good with that? What that means is that now I'm inside of my environment. Okay, so once you're here, if you want to see all of the packages that are inside of this virtual environment, we can do Conda List. So say, for example, we're like, hey, we got to install TensorFlow or Keras. Is it installed already? I don't know. So let's take a look. So I'll come over here, I'll scroll up, and I don't see any TensorFlow. So scroll up. How about Keras? Is it installed? HIJK. No, it's not. It's not here either. Okay. So to answer your question, Ethan, so now that I'm inside of this environment, if I want to leave the environment, it's the same for both OSs. It's deactivate and whatever your environment name is. So for me, deactivate REU20.
All right, cool.
So now see, it says here, source deactivate is deprecated. Use conda deactivate. That's fine. So let's do it. Conda deactivate. Okay. So now that I did conda deactivate here, so you can see that I'm out of that virtual environment. So it is super important. If you have any questions that you ask me as we're going along here, a lot of the theoretical stuff that Dr. Lobo was talking about, including the stuff from Dr. Shaw, if you don't understand that entirely, you're not gonna be in super trouble. If you can't do this stuff entirely, you will be in trouble. So at the expense of looking stupid, which you won't, but if you feel like you are, don't worry about it. You have to tell me, hey, I'm stuck, I'm not getting it, because each one of these things are going to be required for everything that's coming ahead. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay. So with that being said, does anybody have any questions about this?
I'm probably jumping ahead, but I take it we're going to install all the packages we're going to need in the next few minutes.
You got it.
All right.
Okay, so has anyone, and Robert, I'm assuming that you're going to do this later, but has anyone other than Robert, is anyone other than Robert having problems with the virtual environment, or is everybody good so far? Everybody's good? Okay, good.
I'm caught
All right.
up.
I'm sorry, one more time.
I'm caught up already.
Nice, love to hear it. Okay, so then with that being said, so let's just talk about virtual environments real quick. So, so on a Mac, for example, see how I'm outside of my virtual environment right here? Can everybody see my screen? Right. Okay. So I'm outside of my virtual environment, which means I'm just working on my Mac. It has nothing to do with Anaconda. So I just want to type in Python here. And you can see, oh, well, that's going to give me the Anaconda version, but the point is that, for example, Mac machines come pre-installed with Python on them, right? So that's not what we want. What we want is a separate environment, a separate place that's kind of sandboxed from the rest of the world, okay? Because we're going to be installing a bunch of weird packages. We don't want them intermingling with all of the other stuff on our machine. So is anybody unclear about the idea of what a virtual environment is?
I understand it, but I have a quick question.
Yeah,
It
sure.
seems like when I'm not in the RU 2021, it says base next to it. Is that just like the default if you're not in a virtual environment?
Yeah, I think so.
For me, it's not.
Mine had that too.
Mine has always had that, yeah.
That's specifically for the Anaconda prompt for me, I think.
Okay, but Tess, you're not in it. You're in the terminal, right?
Yeah, it seems like I've had that since I installed Anaconda.
Yes.
Like, I don't really
sitting-
care. I just didn't know if that's normal.
So I'm
I have that.
gonna shoot you something real quick.
It's because it's like sitting in your like main directory or something.
Tess, can you share your screen, please?
Yeah, 1 second.
Just share on top of me.
Did you see that?
I do, yes. So let's actually what I want to see is like your desktop, for example.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so just do like a general share. Yeah. Okay, so click on your desktop and then press Command N. And then go to okay, so from here, click all the way to the in those 4 little boxes where you just were, click the one to the left that's got like the 6 little.
Oh, this.
Yeah. Now press Command arrow up. Okay, so here's, okay. So now this is your user, right? So now press Shift Command period. Yeah. Can you maximize this window? Awesome. And let's see if we have OPT here. I don't see it. So try, there it is, OPT.
Oh, this.
Yeah, try clicking on that. Okay, so there's your Anaconda 3, click on that. Okay, so this is what I wanted to make sure. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send you a command in chat for everybody. Now, this is probably not necessary if you're not on a Mac. So go back to the terminal and type that in. And let's see if this gets rid of the base thing.
Is the basic thing like a problem? I never thought of it as a problem, so I always kept it.
I mean, if you hit Conda deactivate again, it will return you from the base.
So let's try that. Let's try Conda deactivate.
Like that worked on my end.
Oh yeah,
There we
that works.
Okay.
Okay.
Figure out. Interesting.
Perfect.
Okay. So thank you for the share.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm gonna come in. Here we go. All right. So now that everybody's good with that. So by the way, actually, we'll come back to that. Okay. So next up. So by including the Anaconda, blah, 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 I already talked about this, okay? And then Conda List, this is an important one. So basically, you'll use this a lot. So Conda List is basically going to show you all the packages that are installed in an existing environment, right? So in order to install new packages, you're going to use something like Conda install, or you can see how I have it here, Conda install -C, Conda forge. This is the idea. So when we install packages, they're going to come from certain channels, okay? Channels are basically a place where packages are maintained. So for example, Conda or the Anaconda channel itself is kind of the main channel. And you don't have to, so when I type in -C right here, so everybody see that? This -C says, hey, I'm calling on a specific channel. Now, this is probably a little bit more in depth than anything you need to know now, but just know that there are certain channels for your Anaconda version. The channels are listed in a priority order, and the Anaconda channel is first. Because that's true, you don't have to type in -C, for example, here, conda install TensorFlow. You don't have to type in -C Anaconda, okay? But if you're getting something outside of the Anaconda Anaconda channel, then sometimes you will have to type it in like this. Now, why is that not super important? Because anytime you ever want to install anything, before you do, even if you're reading my notes, the first thing I always recommend is you just go over here. See, here's the book that I was looking at. The first thing you want to do is you just want to type in conda install and whatever package you're interested in this case, it's TensorFlow. Type that in, okay? Now, once you have that, you're going to find, typically it looks something like this. Okay, you'll see like the package name, ;, anaconda.org, okay? We're going to click on that. And then you're going to come down and it's going to tell you, for example, conda install conda forge TensorFlow. Seeing this is not what I had. So this is good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this. I'm going to hop back over here. As you can tell out front, I'm not currently inside of my environment. So what I'm going to do is for the terminal, you can press the up arrow. I'm assuming it's probably the same for the Anaconda prompt. But what I'm trying to do is I'm going back through all of the things I've typed recently. So you can see here I have source activate RU 2021, so I don't have to type it again. I'm going to enter that. And then I can see out front here, boom, I have RU 2021. Is everybody good with that? Okay. Once you've entered into that environment, now let me say this real quick. It may be different if you're on, no, it looks like this is the same for all of the OSs. Here, okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste this, Command V, and we're going to see what happens. Hopefully nothing explodes.
Isn't this for if you don't have a GPU?
This is for if you do not have it, if you're not using a GPU on your machine. Thank you for asking. Yes, I do actually have something. Yeah, so here you can see if you're using a GPU on your machine. So who has a GPU on their machine?
I believe I have. I checked.
Okay, so for those of you who do, it's so funny, like every U in the REU, like 3 years ago, nobody. 2 years ago, a few people. This year, it's like half of you. So if there's a GPU on your machine that you care to utilize, because standard GPUs on your machine are probably not going to do much more than your CPU. Okay, plus we're not going to be running a lot of experiments on our personal machines anyways. We're going to be running them on a Linux server, but in the event you do have that, you want to make sure. So this is for the so what I'm going to do, come back here, and I'm going to type in TensorFlow GPU.
Should we install both?
I'm not going to, and the only reason I'm not going to is because sometimes there will be version conflicts. Does that make sense? Right. So whichever one you need, install that one. Otherwise, probably not. So I'm going to minimize this window because my fan's turning on. It's having a little failed with initial frozen solve, retrying with flexible solve. So let's see what happens here. So is everybody on the same page with me so far trying to install TensorFlow? Everybody there?
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying.
Yeah. Fun fact, most MacBooks don't actually turn the fan on until it's like 90 degrees. So
interesting.
Yeah, no, the fan curve is more of a let's just call it a vertical line.
Is there any downside to using your GPU for this?
You know what? I can't answer that question for sure. Honestly, I don't know.
I can think of two reasons. One would be it's a piece of crap. So like integrated graphics or something from a million years ago, probably a waste of your time. Or two, if you're using it in a laptop and it's in your cooler is shared between your CPU and GPU, you could have thermal issues. But I don't know. If you really care about your thermals, that's something to consider. If you don't worry about it.
I mean, it's not going to like mess with your video quality, is it? If you
No, that has
have
nothing to do with that.
So in general, I never use TensorFlow or Keras, which we'll talk about Keras in a minute. I don't use TensorFlow because I hate it. I like PyTorch much more. And with PyTorch, you just install PyTorch and it will determine for you whether you're using GPU or not, which to me makes infinitely more sense. But
I don't know, like I feel like Keras is easier to get started with, and PyTorch you have to do a lot of manual stuff.
which is
But-
exactly why I have it set up that we use Keras first.
Yeah, but that said, Keras, I mean, PyTorch does not like my machine. If I use more than like 2 or 3 CPU cores, it just doesn't work.
Interesting.
Like I have to specify that it has to limit itself, which is really stupid. And then when I told the people at AI Club when we were using it, they're like, "Oh yeah, just switch to Linux." And I'm like, "I know that's the answer, but please help me."
That's definitely the answer. Or Mac. Robert, tell him, man, Mac's the way to go. Hey, so what's your other machine, Robert? You got a Mac laptop, and then what's your other one?
So I have like another desktop. It's like an actual Windows desktop, but I was able to put macOS on it because
Nice.
yeah. So
Okay, so I guess is everybody seeing this TensorFlow installation that I have here?
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay, who has not successfully installed TensorFlow?
I'm still waiting.
You're still waiting? Anybody else still waiting? Okay, so we'll wait just another minute. I want to show you one thing in the interim. So for example, here, Conda List. Let me scroll up before. So remember when we looked at Conda List before, and I wanted to see if TensorFlow was installed, and it wasn't, right? So here, I'm going to say Conda List now. Let's take a look. Here, TensorFlow. Okay, so now it's here. That's a good sign, right? So, so while you guys are waiting on that, let's just hop ahead real quick. Now, once you've installed that, the next thing we want to install. So here's how it works. So Keras, like Ethan was talking about, is kind of like a wrapper, is a high-level wrapper kind of for TensorFlow. Basically, it just it makes things a lot easier, especially when you're new. The syntax is much simpler to kind of get started with. Okay. Now, personally, I think that sometimes it's just that you should just jump right in and get into PyTorch, but there's 2 schools of thought on this. So the next thing what we're going to do is we're going to install Keras. But the reason we install TensorFlow first is because TensorFlow is the default backend for Keras. Okay, that may not make a whole lot of sense to you, and to be frank, it doesn't matter. But let me just show you one thing real quick. So here, what is this? Oh, that's embarrassing. But so you want to come over here. Oh, well, I'll just show you. Let me see if I can find it here. I guess I already have it on my machine here, Keras. And then in this JSON file, okay. So you don't have to do this. I'm just showing you, right? But can you guys see this, or is it too small?
I can read it.
Okay. So the point is this: when you install Keras, it looks at your machine and says, is TensorFlow installed? And in our case, the answer will be yes. And it's going to use a backend, the backend as TensorFlow. Okay. That means basically all the work, all the leg lifting is going to be done by TensorFlow, but the code that you write is going to be written in Keras. Okay.
That was pretty fast. It installed pretty quick on mine.
Which one? Keras or
Yeah,
TensorFlow?
Keras.
Okay. So you've moved on. Let's move on. So
No, it was like really quick.
So here, as I said before, never trust my notes or anybody else's for that matter. Conda install Keras.
It was the same.
Right. So, yep, you're right. Looks good. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to make sure that I'm still inside of my RU 2021 environment. I'm going to paste this here. And let's see what happens.
It should be quick. It went fast on mine.
Looks like you're right. Pretty quick.
It only
Kind of funny how they
downloaded-
fit a machine learning library into 30 kilobytes.
It's kind of amazing, isn't it?
I have a hard time believing that's actually what it is, but I mean, it's what it says.
It's all the other libraries that it installs. So, you know.
Yeah.
For me, downloading and extracting packages, I only had Keras. It was like only one.
It was only one.
Yeah, that was only just Keras 2.4.3. That's it.
Yeah, same.
Mine's the same way.
Invalid active developer path, command line tools, missing X from developer command line tools, blah, 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 blah. Well, let me try something here. Let's see if we have Conda, or excuse me, Keras. Let's just double check. It may cause us some problems. I don't know. So the thing is that this year is a little bit different. Yeah, Keras. So we have it here. So that's a good sign. So we'll come back to this. So last year I was using a machine that already had everything that I used myself, and I had everything installed on it. I had a lot of nice environments set up, etc. This year I'm using a new machine, so it's a little bit better for like problem solving for you guys because I'm kind of actually doing it with you, right? So let's move forward and see. So has anyone not successfully downloaded Keras? Okay, good. So we can move forward. Okay, so pip versus Anaconda. So what we've done is we've installed Anaconda. Anaconda is a package manager. Package meaning all the libraries that we're going to need to install along the way, right? Anaconda is going to make sure that those things get installed in such a way that they don't conflict with each other, right? For example, you install package 1, it gives you version 2. Then you install package 2, and it says, well, package 2 conflicts with version 2 of the previous package. So I'm going to downgrade the previous package to 1.9, and then I can install package 2 version whatever. Does that make sense? So it's going to make sure that all versions kind of line up for you. Now, it's not always as clean as I'm making it out to be, but that's the idea. It's going to make sure that everything plays nice. And then when we use virtual environments, it's even better because it means that we don't have to worry about all the stuff on our machine conflicting with the stuff that we're installing, okay? Now, some packages that you'll want to install along the way, you can see here in my little diagram. So here's Anaconda. Some packages you'll want to install along the way won't be available in Anaconda, so you'll have to use something called pip. Pip is also a package manager for Python, but it doesn't, unlike Anaconda, offer the ability to make virtual environments, right? So by using Anaconda, we get to have virtual environments and package management integrated into one, which is much, much better for our sakes because it has this basic, it's a single software that makes everything work together nicely for the most part, okay? Now, let's say you didn't install Anaconda on your machine. You could use just the package manager pip to install packages, and you never need to use Anaconda, okay? But since we haven't installed Anaconda, sometimes there will be packages that cannot be installed with the Conda install, etc. So you'll have to use pip install. See how I have like pip install package name? Okay. Now, for the IDE that we're going to use is called PyCharm. So who has not installed PyCharm yet?
Is there a difference between, is there like a special thing between the professional and community that you're looking for, or can the community version work?
I honestly can't answer that question because I've never used community. All I know is that if you have a .edu email address, it should be free. So you know, why not? But
Wait, is this only if we have one for UCF, or is it
no,
any?
any.edu.
I tried.
Okay.
Yeah. So let me see what I have here. So, so if you haven't already, and I think here, where's that link I have here? Yeah. So if you click on this link, right? Let me do that. All right. Ready to go pro? Download now. Free 30-day trial. That's my radio host voice.
Amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. I miss my calling. I know.
Oh wow,
So
this
I
is
don't
like
think that's
only
actually what you
valid for
want
the
to do.
next- This is only valid for like the next year or so for me.
Yeah, you have to re-update it every year. So actually don't use this link, okay? Where's the link that I want? I swear I had it here. Anyways, just type in, I mean, it really doesn't matter. Just download PyCharm. That's the point, okay? So, I mean, you can try, like, for example, I think this is like, if this download here is probably includes PyCharm and Anaconda, don't do that, okay? So since you already have Anaconda, you don't want that. So PyCharm Anaconda, PyCharm for Anaconda download.
Actually, if you go into Anaconda Navigator and you go to Home, there's literally a button that downloads PyCharm Professional.
That's why they pay you the big bucks, man. I love it.
Sure.
That's probably the easiest way. Okay. Like I said, I've never done that before, but it sounds pretty straightforward. So that's probably the best way to do it. But it doesn't really matter. And all the stuff that I'm doing here, honestly, all you got to do is just PyCharm download. Okay. That's really all you care about. PyCharm download.
I think I got it. Hold on.
Come again?
I'm just trying something real quick.
So this is really all you have to do. Download here, blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Times like this are I really hate this phrase, but it's like, you know, there's more than one way to skin a cat. So
which is exactly why I've tried to like make this as specific as possible. Like, hey, just do it this way. Some people always fight me and they're like, oh no, I use, you know, this editor. And I'm like, you know, you can do that if you want, but it's like this way because, hold on one second. Zoom recording. Okay, so has everybody had an opportunity to download PyCharm?
already downloaded and installed.
Nice. Anybody, has anybody not?
I'm still working on it.
Okay. All right. So let me jump ahead here. Okay. So the first thing what we're going to do is we are going to use PyCharm. Okay. So okay. So is everybody seeing my desktop here?
Yep.
Okay. So just a fun fact for Windows users, you can press Command space, type in Py, open that up. I'm like such a huge fan of all of the Mac shortcuts. Like there's so many of them, it just makes me so happy. I mean, I've been using Mac probably for over 10 years and I still find out new ones and it just makes me happy. Okay, so
Yeah,
is
it's
everybody
like
with me?
Windows.
It's like you in Windows?
Yeah, no, like I have a Logitech G600 with a bunch of macro buttons on the side, and I'm one of the 3 onboard profiles, I kid you not, is dedicated to just Windows shortcuts.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love shortcuts. They make me so happy. All right,
I got a
so
quick question.
go ahead.
So I have PyCharm installed,
Yeah.
but I haven't actually used it. It's asking me, should I activate PyCharm or evaluate for free? But it says if I evaluate for free, it only lasts for 30 days.
Yeah, definitely activate. And then it's probably going to take you to its web page.
Okay, but am I gonna have to like pay for something?
Oh, you probably no. There's no. You won't have to pay for anything, but you will have to probably create an account with your .edu email. But I'm willing to wait because it's worth us all being on the same page.
Okay, I'll do it then.
I guess while he's doing that, I'll just go ahead and say this. JetBrains IDEs have this amazing plugin called Rainbow Brackets
Uh-huh.
that makes tracking large quantities of grouping symbols, so brackets, parentheses, curly braces, and all that, really easy by making
That's
them
nice.
super colorful. So anytime I like get an IDE, I always try to find a plugin like that, just
That's
because it makes
great.
reading things easier.
Yeah, and I
So,
like the name too. It's like really, self-explanatory, rainbow, like,
yeah, it makes your
I get,
code gay. It's pretty nice.
I love it. I love it. All right, so let's, so who like Michael is in the process of creating a JetBrains account? Okay, good. Go ahead and do that. Yeah, set that up. For the rest of you, if you just want to take a quick little, why don't you guys do that? For the rest of you, just want to take a quick little break. I'm gonna go grab some water, and we'll pick back up in, let's say, 5 minutes. Okay. Don't leave. Just okay. Bye.
Excuse me. I do have some more questions.
Please go ahead.
I'm trying to figure out what to do, because it says activate PyCharm or evaluate for free. But it.
Share your screen, Michael.
Okay. All right. You see my screen?
Yeah. So click the activate PyCharm, and then you're going to click probably buy license. You're not going to buy anything, but you're just going to click that, and it's going to take you to their website. And if you are on their website, we can't see it, by the way, if you share just PyCharm.
Yeah, let me switch that. Pretty crappy at this stuff.
Just stop sharing and then reshare. Yeah.
Okay.
So in the top right, scroll back up. Yeah, in the top right, not that, the little human. Yeah, right click on that and open a new tab. Yep, let's do that. Create a JetBrains account, so sign up. Unless you already have one. Do you have one already?
No.
No. Okay. Yeah. So let's sign up.
I'll be back in a couple minutes.
Okay.
And that was it.
Oh no! Now you got to go to your email, and it'll give you a new link.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Good news, Robert. It finally worked out for me.
Which one is that?
PyCharm Professional.
Nice.
Okay, so
Now you're a professional.
I think it's because back at my community college in like Santa Monica, I downloaded Sea Lion. I used my Santa Monica EDU. I took the same one. I switched it to my new college, and I bought a new license. They gave you like one for free for like a year.
Interesting.
So I was able to activate it from that. Fine.
Nice.
Thank you. Sorry.
So now I'm going to be expecting professional results from you. Okay.
Sorry for the trouble. I don't know why it's just always with installation packages, Anaconda, I always end up lost.
Yeah, if you want to stop your share, Michael, you're welcome to. For this part, I don't. For the sake of security reasons. All right, so stay strong with that. I'll be right back, okay? And if you have any trouble, ask the group, because I believe in them, okay?
Right on.
Okay. Brian, I got a feeling that you're the man for this, right?
Absolutely.
I could tell. I just knew it for some reason.
Like, how do you know when you're finished, like signing up for the thing? It just keeps looping me back to the same page as if I didn't do it.
I think it should email you or something, maybe that your account was activated, something like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna check real quick.
All right. Everybody good to go? Michael, how are we looking?
I'm still working on it. I think.
Do we have a bunch of professionals? All right, so while we're waiting on that, let's talk about our favorite TV shows. This is more important anyways. Jude, what's your show right now?
I'm not really watching TV right now. Sorry.
So what's the show that you like?
Battlestar Galactica.
Okay, yeah. Tess, what about you?
I'm not watching anything right now either, but I got to start something soon.
Ryan, I know you got something in there, man. For some reason, I can't hear you. It says you're not muted. Can you guys hear him, or is it just me?
Is that better?
Now I can hear you.
Okay.
What was the show? Now I can't hear you again. Look, this is a conspiracy. The government's bleeping out whatever show you want us to hear about. All right, Leah, what do you got?
Me and my roommate have been. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, that gets confusing. Who are you talking to?
Let's do Lee. Let's do Lee first, and then we'll do Lee.
Okay. Me and my roommate have been watching the new Handmaid's Tales that are coming out.
Oh my God, the best ever! I love that show. So good. Lee, what are you watching?
I'm personally not a really show person. I usually watch like Japanese animes and stuff. I'm not a big fan of like a real person show or something.
That's okay. You're probably in the best company for that you'll ever meet. So
Does that mean you do anime? Like anime is cool.
Mm-hmm. By the way, can I ask a question about one of the installation?
please do. Yes, this is a good time to do that.
May I do a screen share?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Robert, I got PyCharm logged in.
Nice.
Okay. So I'm stuck at this step here, which is on the part 3 and this part, introduction to Linux. So I finished everything until here, basically. So when it comes to decrypting the RSA keys,
Yeah,
and it says extract your keys from the zip archive, but
I haven't get
where
them
is-
to you yet.
Okay, we can go.
So I have a
there.
guest. I have a guest speaker. He comes in and he's going to do that entire Linux guide with you guys. And
Tomorrow?
no, not tomorrow. Next week.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah. So you're totally ahead of the game. So I wouldn't worry about anything. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
So now you can just watch anime and do whatever you want.
Okay.
Nice. All right, cool. So I'm going to share my screen now. And here's what we're going to do. So quick recap. What we've done so far is we installed Anaconda. We created a virtual environment. We installed TensorFlow and Keras in that virtual environment. Now, however, let me see if I have my presentation here. No. Okay. So now what we're going to do is this, right? We're going to install, we're going to create a new project. So everybody, you know, your GUI may look a little bit different. That's okay. But we're going to do a new project, right? And this is the important part. So see how it says new environment. So let's, first of all, what should we call this project? I already have a hello world, so I'm gonna have to reevaluate. Let's do RU. I'm gonna get really creative here. RU 2021 best. I know, that's really good. That's what you guys were thinking. Good. Okay, we're on the same page. So all caps, RU 2021 best. Okay. So now what you want to do is you want to come down here. So this is very, very important. Okay. So new environment using virtual environment, which means you don't have to use Anaconda, right? But as I said before, we're going to. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on this previously configured interpreter. What does that mean? Now, you're going to use this little drop-down menu, and you're not going to see. So when it says interpreter, what that means is the virtual environment that we just created, okay? It's not here. So for all of my Mac users, let me go through this process, and then I'm going to have somebody that's on a Windows machine share their screen, and we're going to go that way, okay? So let me start here first. So I clicked, if you didn't see what I just did, for my Mac users, follow along and do what I'm doing, okay? So you're going to click on the little menu bar here, our thing. Then you're going to click on Conda environment. You're going to go over here and you're going to drop down and you're going to see no interpreters. So you're going to click on this menu again. Okay. Now, once I'm here, girls, that's my kid. This is not like my special folder, so don't think anything weird here. Oh, that's embarrassing. This happened to people though before, you know? All right, so let me see where Anaconda is. So I got OPT, but I also have an OPT here. That's no, that's not what I want. Okay, so in my root directory, which is here, okay, I'm going to go down to OPT. Then I'm going to go to Anaconda 3. Then I'm going to go to, I think it's an environments, bada bing, bada boom, right? You see how I got environments here? They should be all the environments I've ever created, which the only one I've ever created is the RU 2021. I'm going to click on that. And then I'm going to click on, I think it's bin. And I'm going to go down until I see Python, something or another. Python 3.7. Okay, let's try that. Okay, so Mac users, did you follow that process? Tess, are you good?
Yeah, I'm still going through it because my OPT folder was somewhere else, but I found it now.
Okay, that's good. Robert, how about you? By the way, this is a fun fact. I don't know if this is true for Windows users, but for Mac, you can press and hold your space bar to unmute yourself temporarily. That's a win for the home team as far as I'm concerned. See, it's nice,
Yeah,
right?
you're right. I didn't know that.
Robert?
That's good, right? I just learned it yesterday.
Robert,
Okay,
Zane here. So, go ahead.
I'm sorry. So for some sort of random reason, my bin folder is empty. Doesn't have the Python like 3.7 or whatever. It's
are
the
you on a Mac
library.
machine, Lee?
I'm on Windows machine.
Okay, yeah. So Windows people just hang tight. Okay, it's going to be a different process.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I know Tess and Robert on Mac. You guys both got it?
Okay, so Robert, so
Yeah, I'm where you are.
Okay, good.
okay, Robert. So I downloaded PyCharm using Windows, but I'm adding a WSL interpreter, so it's kind of like the Linux. So I made it to RU 2021. Under it, I see bin. Do I just click bin? Do
Only one way to
you want me
find
to share
out.
screen?
Only one way to find out. Just
Okay.
press the big red button and see if it explodes.
Okay, it explodes with a ton of stuff. So what am I supposed to do?
Scroll down, look for Python. That's kind
Python,
of like my
yep.
motto in life, which is why I got in
Python.
suspension when I was in 10th grade. This is just a fun fact about me. I had this gum wrapper. You know, back in the day, you could buy sticks of gum, you know, and they came in like that little tinfoil package. So I took it. We were watching a movie in my chemistry class. I was sitting in the lab because there was an overflow. So I took the wrapper, I folded it up into kind of like a long stick or whatever, and I forked it like this. And I wanted to know if it conducted electricity or not. Well, there's only one way to find out, right? So I stuck it in an outlet. Well, that was the wrong thing to do because the outlet exploded and it blew me off my chair and I got in school suspension for 3 days. So that's just a fun fact about me. Zane, did you find Python down there?
Yeah, okay, can I just share my screen to make sure it's the right one?
Definitely.
Okay, this is
Zane,
it.
Anaconda 3 environments, RU20. Yeah, that's it.
Python.
It looks good.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, now.
Okay, let me stop sharing.
So now on my case, hold on 1 second here. So in my case, I'm going to make sure that make available to all projects. Okay. Because I want to keep this. Okay. And I'm going to click OK. Updating interpreter paths. Okay. So this is really important for the Mac people. Just make sure you have previously configured interpreter, which you should, right? And then do I want to create a main.py welcome script? Meh, not really.
Oops.
I mean, it doesn't matter either way. It really doesn't matter either way. And so I'm going to click create. Okay. Now we're going to ask one of our Windows people. Oh, before I do that, one thing you're going to notice is that down here on the bottom, you're going to see this little, it's going to say something like updating skeleton or scanning files, whatever it says now. Basically, it's just making sure that PyCharm has all of that stuff that we've just told it about. Okay, go ahead, Robert.
So like I was installing it on the desktop and the laptop. And on the laptop, it has Python 3.8 instead of 3.7.
When you created the virtual environment, which one did you use?
3.7.
So in the virtual environments bin, it should be Python 3.7. You may see a Python 3.8 in there, but just keep.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I don't think it really
like,
matters.
Yeah, I was going to ask that
weird because like I
used 3.8 too.
It was just weird because like I did it on the desktop and the laptop using the same commands. Like I copied.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
And it like there's something different there. I don't really know how that happened.
Interesting. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop my screen share. Who's our Windows volunteer? Ethan, you're our Windows volunteer. Nice.
I can do a Windows.
Unfortunately, Ethan beat you to it. Next up, I'm going to let you do it. Okay.
Well, I'm kind of confused. I want to do this part because I have to like I have two Pythons, so I also want to confirm which one is the correct one.
Good.
So
So
can I
you're
go
going to go
to-
right after Ethan. Okay.
Okay.
I feel like I'm in a time warp because you're sharing my screen. So I'm like looking at myself.
In Discord, when you share your screen, you go in like an infinite recursion or something.
Yeah, I'm in like Inception. Okay, so welcome to PyCharm. Good, new project. REU 2021 best. I feel like we should make friendship bracelets. All right, so then you're going to go down to previously configured interpreter. Click on that one. Good. So Windows users, you should be doing this. You should be following along, okay? Right, so then, nope, then you're going to go over on the left-hand column. Yep, you were in the right place. So click the triple dots on the right. Left-hand column, Conda environment. And then, oh, wow, look, yours did it for you. Nice. So everybody, this is very important. You can just, if it doesn't do it for you, you can just follow the path that Ethan has there. So it should be in your user, your username, and then you're looking for Anaconda 3, environments, RU 2021. But this is where it gets different. After the virtual environment name, for us Mac users, it had RU 2021, then you did bin. But for Windows users, it's different. You don't go to the bin, you go to RU 2021, and then you're going to click python.executable. Okay.
I'm surprised not many people use WSL.
Oh, I'm muted. I actually used WSL for CS1, but since I already had Anaconda installed, I kind of just wanted to use that because I know it works.
Okay, so are all of our Windows users good here? Right?
I mean, I'm assuming I just need to hit OK at this point.
Go ahead and click OK.
Smash that like button.
Oh my God, you've been watching too many YouTube videos.
I do watch too much YouTube, I'll give you that.
So
wow,
there
this
we
looks
go.
like sea lion. Holy crap.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, so you can skip the, okay, so you can stop sharing.
All right.
Thank you. Okay, so who other, so Lee, I'm gonna let you share next, but before you do that, are any of our Windows users having problems so far? Okay, good. Lee, why don't you go ahead and share yours and let's take a look and see what we're looking at.
Sure. Okay, so when I come into here and I click new project, open this one, and it has two of them. One is like a Python 3.8, which is the Anaconda 3.python.exe, and another one is the Python 3.6 with my environment.
Yeah,
Like
that's
I
the
name
one we want.
myself as my environment, and like I don't know which one is the correct one.
Do the one with the environment because we want to use, yeah, that one. Did you
I see.
create the environment RU 2021?
Yes, I quit it as this name, but I can quit another one with RU 2021.
No, that's fine. As long as, okay, that's fine. So you can keep this
Yeah.
one and then just click create. Yeah. Project's going to open a window. Yeah, that's fine. New window.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah, you're good.
Okay, that's it. It works. Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Okay. So let's see what's next. Now we get to write some code. Okay. So can you guys see PyCharm new project interpreter? Everybody good there?
Yeah.
All right. Name your project. We did it. Existing interpreter, blah, blah, blah. We did all that. Content environment, did that. Make available, blah, 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 did all that. Okay. Navigate, blah, 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 blah. Okay, good. We've done all that. Right click. Now we're going to get to some action. Right, blah, blah. All right, so let me open my PyCharm back up here. Okay. All right, so this is the project we just created, but it's not a file. It's a project, so it's basically just a directory, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna right click on this guy, or gal, hard to say. You see in the bottom right corner, it says updating skeleton, all that stuff down here. So it's still doing a lot of other stuff here, so. May take a minute. My machine's kind of laggy because of that. Yeah, it's being a jerk. Okay, so you kind of come here, and then we're going to come down here to new Python file. Okay. Now, some of you already have that Python file that it says, you know, like create the main.py, et cetera, et cetera. But I mean, for those of you who have that, you can just delete the code that's in it. Okay. And then we're going to do main. We'll call it main. Okay. So now all of us should have a main.py. Okay. Everybody good? Okay. So here, now for those, some of you, this may literally be your first line of code ever. So in Python 3, when we do print, we're going to use parentheses like this, print, and then we're going to use quotes, in this case, a single quote. I'm a single quote kind of guy. Sometimes we'll need double quotes. I also like long walks on the beach, but that's not really relevant. So we're going to type in here, hello world. Right? Okay. Now, the first time you want to run code. Now, first of all, we're not going to be able to run code just yet, because if you look at the bottom of my screen, it says updating a skeleton, right? And that process is still happening, which is why my machine's fan is going nuts. So we're just going to hang tight for another minute or two. But the first time we want to run this, you're going to right click inside of this text field, and you're going to see run main. Okay. The first time you want to run code, you're going to right click in the text field, and you're going to come down to run main. Now, once you've run it there, then you can come up here and use the run button. But the first time you do it, the first time you run a file, you have to click in here and do it that way. Okay.
Quick thing, if you're on Windows, you might want to click the little thing that says CRLF in the bottom right corner and change it to LF, just to avoid conflicts with things. Because Windows likes to use different line ending. So.
No, can you elaborate on what you're saying?
So like Windows, like so CRLF. So like, you know how there's like, you know, ASCII characters, right? And there are also invisible ASCII characters at the end to tell it to go to a new line. So normally, like if you're programming, use a \n. The actual character is like a line feed, right? But Windows likes to do a carriage return and then a line feed. And like Unix operating systems don't really like to do that. It's usually just line feed, so LF.
Yeah.
So,
okay. So then you should definitely.
I would recommend doing that.
Yeah, you should definitely do that. All right. So, by the way, is anybody, Ethan? Can you share your screen real quick and show everybody what you're talking about? Man down. We have a man down. All right. So if you have,
I can show.
Please do. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Cool. For the sake of the video.
Sorry, I'm just trying to find. Oh, there it is. All right, you all see my screen?
Yep.
It's this little thing right here.
Yes.
You just click on it, left click, and normally it's this one right here, but you want it to be the Unix and Mac.
Love it. How funny. I've never even noticed that button before.
Yeah, it can cause some serious problems if you don't know about it.
You can thank Dr. Zumlansky for that tip from me.
Yeah, that's great.
Same here, yeah.
All right, so thank you. Let me share here. So now the first time you want to run your code, we're going to right click here. We're going to come down here, run main. And your output's going to come down here because we have a print. So you're going to get an output. Hello world, that's it. Process finished with exit code 0. That means everything happened okay. All right. So this is your first code. Congratulations if you've never written Python before. All right. So now let's say we have, what did I do last year? Let's do for X and range 10. Let's do like 10,000. Okay. Let's just do nothing. Okay. All right. So just a little bit about what I'm doing here. So we just have a for loop, right? Range basically is going to start us at 0, and it's going to go to the number -1 that's here, right? If that's going to work, I'm sure it should. And pass basically just does nothing, right? It's just going to go to the statement, continue, right? So let's just see if we run. Guess it doesn't.
So is that like the continue statement in C?
I think you can do it with the double asterisk.
Python. Yeah, but I literally used it last year, so that's why I'm a little. It doesn't say it means blah blah blah. Blah, blah. Yeah, E should work. Maybe it's 1E. Just cheat. Okay, so now that I've run this before, right, you can just do this here. Okay. So now, why did I want to do any of that? The point is this: is that inside of PyCharm, there's a really nice debugger. So it took me a while to figure out about this, but once you have that, there's this idea of like debug here. Okay. So let's see. So what you can do with this is you can take this guy and you can put little dots along the way, right? So here, for example, let's say I put an if statement inside of this for loop. If X equals to, what do I want to do, like 500? Let's do pass again. Okay. Right, so let's say now, so basically what's going to happen in this loop is that for X is just going to go through this range. It's going to pass every time. Now, if X gets to 500, it's going to pass again. But what if we wanted to actually stop once we're here? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one of these little red dots. Okay. Is everybody with me? So at this red dot inside of this if statement, what should the value of X be?
500.
500, right? So now what you're going to do is, now that I've put that little red dot on there, we're going to press the debug button and it's going to run the code. Fail. Where's my debug at here? Why didn't it stop? That's very strange. We'll have to come back to this in a little bit because I'm almost out of time.
I'm having a hard time finding the debug button.
All right, I'm going to come back to this in a little bit, okay?
If you're on Windows, it's in the top left corner
Yeah.
or right corner. I don't know my directions.
Top right for me, it's like a bug. It looks like a bug. It's like right next to the run arrow.
Okay, I found it. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to ask that you guys, because we're going to wrap up at 5 today, I'm going to ask that you guys go through and try this out for the version control, the checkout system on PyCharm. But basically the idea is that once you're in here, you can come up here to VCS and you come down to, which one is it? me see, it's been a while. Check out from version control, that's right. Interesting, I don't see it here though. Share project, create. So on this new version, it looks like get from version control, I guess, probably that's what it is, right? Okay, so basically from this point, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have the URL of the GitHub repository that you're trying to get, right? So let's go here. And here's the link for assignment 0, okay? So I want you guys to check out this. So what you can do is you can come over here, right click, and then you can just copy this link, okay? I mean, you can copy it from the URL bar as well, but copy this link. And we're gonna come over here and you're gonna paste it here, right? And it's gonna put it here. So the invalid path to command line tools. Actually, I don't want to do that right now. So I may have to actually fix this. I don't know what this is. Let's try this here. Fix path. The X close loader on the command line developer will like it. Yes, sure. $10 hours. My 3 minutes, 1 minute. Man, that is like a serious. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
It's nuts.
I have a quick question.
Yo.
So I'm trying to run the debugger with the breakpoint, but it doesn't seem to be stopping at the breakpoint at all.
Are you trying something different than what I did?
No, I'm just hitting the. I'm just right clicking and clicking debug main.
And this time is all over the place. So we might have to pick up here in the morning because I don't know how long this is going to take. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this continue, right? I'm going to exit out of that. I'm going to come back over here. It's funny though, mine doesn't either. I don't know why. There we go. Okay, so replace that pass statement with the print, okay? Print here. Sanjay, that was you that asked, right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, replace it with a print statement. Yeah, and it should stop there. Now the point is this, okay? That once you're there, right? So we know that once we're printing here, this here statement, we should be able to, what we can do is right click on X. And you can come down here and you can say evaluate expression, right? Now I can see it directly right here, X equals 500, right? But the point is this, that you may have tons of variables and you may only be interested in one and they may be embedded in a bunch of stuff in here. So you can just come here, evaluate expression X equals 500, and you can find out, is that true, right? So this is a really nice tool to be able to basically weed out any problems that you have. I mean, I'm trying to think of a different way to say debug, but that's the point, to debug your code, right? So then once you've done that, you can just continue on. So so once we've come, so what we did is we're here, right? And then you can either, these are your options, step over, step into, which in this case, there's nothing to step into, but if you have a loop, you can step over or step into. Step into only my code. In other words, for example, I don't actually want to go into any of the source code. And then you can step out of and whatever here. So let's do step into my code, okay? So you can see how it'll progress one line at a time, right? So see how it went to this next pass line up here, right? So then we'll do it again, step into, and then it's going to come up here, right? Now you can see X is actually 501. If X equals 500, which it does not, right? Then you're going to continue pass, and then you're just going to keep doing this back and forth, right? Everybody with me so far? Now if in the debug process, let's say there was something after this for loop that we wanted to go down to like down here, okay? Then what you can do is you can click step out, and after that there's nothing, so it just completely steps out. But normally it would come down to whatever was down here past that point, okay? So it's a very helpful tool to do that. Now let's see how my download is coming. Oh, good, done, nice. So let's try this again. Get from version control. See if I still have this. I do still have this. Fix path. This is annoying. All right, I don't want to spend much time on this because it's not super important. Path to get executable. So I'm going to look this up and I'll offer you a quick little solution tomorrow, okay? So let's skip this for now.
I don't think mine has that, like that error. I
Yours does
didn't
not?
press clone, but like when I put it there, it seems like it would work.
How interesting. Command line tools.
Mine worked like basically.
Place mine.
Okay, good. Well, then I'm glad you guys don't have this problem. I'll have to solve it on my end, but I'll have to like Google it and figure out what's going on. So the next thing up, Jupyter notebooks, right? So is there anyone who doesn't know what Jupyter notebooks are? That's good. So basically Jupyter notebooks will just allow you to write code and execute it one line at a time, similar to Google Colab notebooks, right? So I'm over here in my terminal. So there's a quick little, for Mac users and Linux users, you can use Control-R, and it's a reverse search, okay? Because I want to find out where I deactivated my environment so I don't have to retype that whole thing. So I just typed in DE to search. Somebody try it in the Anaconda prompt and tell me if it works. Control-R and tell me if it gives you a reverse search.
Control-R does nothing for me.
Okay, thank you. So now that I've deactivated my environment, so basically, in the event that you know absolutely no Linux, okay, so I'm here, I have list, so I want to list, and that's going to list all of the files and directories that are inside of my Robert Browning directory, okay, but I want to list all of them. I want to list them in a certain fashion, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so, okay, so here's all my stuff, right? This is going to show who owns it, who's allowed to change it, modify it, etc. It's also going to show the time, and it's going to show the hidden files. So see all these dots, it's going to show those. Whereas if I just did ls, see, this is all I get. It doesn't show the ownership, it doesn't show the time, and it doesn't show the hidden files. Right? Now, the point of all of that is that what I want to do is I want to navigate into this directory, PyCharm projects, which you can see here, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do cd, which is change directory, py, and I'm going to I pressed py, and then py, you don't have to type the rest of the thing, just press tab, and that'll come up for you, okay? So now you can see over here, I just changed directory. Now my username is still Robert Browning, but I'm not in Robert Browning anymore. I'm in PyCharm projects. Is everybody with me here? So now I want to list everything inside of here. I don't really need to list the hidden stuff. That's okay. So here's everything that I have inside of that folder, right? So now what I want to do is, let's say, for example, I want to go to, I want to change my directory to REU2, and I'm going to press tab from this point. It'll fill in the rest for me. And now you can see I'm in the REU 2021 directory. Is everybody good there? Okay. Now let's list everything that's inside of there. You can see it's just my main.py, right? Now, the point of this is that, why did I do all that stuff? Well, hold on, let me make this a little bit smaller. Okay. The reason I did all that stuff is because now that I'm inside of this directory, I'm going to, and you don't have to, I could have just done it from, you know, my user directory in the very beginning, but now I'm going to press Jupyter Notebook. So you're going to type in Jupyter Notebook. And what it should do is it should take you to a local host. You can see it here. You can copy this path if you want to. It should take you to a local host browser window, and you should see this. Okay. Are you guys seeing this?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, once you're in here, what we can do is we can create, you can come over here and you can click New Python 3. And that's going to create a new Jupyter Notebook for me inside of that RU 2021 best directory. Is everybody good with that? Okay. So now that we're here, you just do whatever you want. Print. This is my first Jupyter Notebook. Yeah. Okay. And inside of this, you can press Shift Enter, and it will run each cell individually. Okay. So let's say I do, for example, something here, X equals 10. Okay. Now I'm going to execute this cell by pressing Shift Enter. And then I'm going to say, print X. And then let's say X equals 7. Okay. Now, this is an important thing. Okay. So see how I've done this sequentially or linearly? I've done one after the other, right? Now, if I come back up here and I rerun this cell, X equals 10, and I come down here and I run print X, you see how X is now 10? So in other words, these things happen, they have to happen sequentially, or they're going to happen the order in which you ran them. Does that make sense? Okay. One last thing, we'll finish with this. Google Colab.
I'm very sorry, but can you please show again how to get to this page?
Yes. So from a shell, I navigated into my RU 2021 best directory, which you don't have to do. You can just do it from anywhere. But the point is that I typed in Jupyter Notebook.
Okay.
Which, by the way, came with Anaconda. So this wasn't here before, right?
Yeah. Okay, so it sent me to a page with a bunch of folders.
Nice. Yeah, so that should be it.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm going to go here, colab.research.google.com. Okay. I heard some grunting. Is everybody okay?
I think that was me speaking.
Sorry.
You're good. I think Jupyter, it says that Jupyter is not found, the command.
What kind of machine are you using?
Windows. But I have Linux installed into my command prompt, so that's what I'm using.
Are you using the Anaconda prompt?
Oh no, I'm not.
Can you try that and try the Jupyter from there?
Sure. Yep.
So after I got into this page with a bunch of computer folders of the Jupyter's website, so how can I actually open a Jupyter's notebook like you did on your computer?
Okay. Come over here, new, Python 3.
Oh, I see. Okay, I see. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Nice.
No, thank you. Okay, I'm done. I'm done.
Quick question.
Yo.
So since we have both a regular IDE and the notebook interface, which one will you probably use most of the time?
Definitely IDE.
Oh, okay.
I mean, for me personally, I only use Jupyter notebooks in the very beginning when I was trying to like, Jupyter notebooks are best for people who, in my opinion, who are learning how to code Python, or they're good for sharing Python. But because, you know, in the beginning, you don't want to have to, like, let's say I have, where was my PyCharm at? Oh, so annoying. You know, in the beginning, you don't want to have to debug and do one line at a time and all that stuff. So all you got to do is you got to hop over to Jupyter Notebook, and you can just do literally one line at a time to see what happens. Like, for example, let's say you don't know if I should say X equals 500 or X equals 500, right? It's very easy to just hop over to Jupyter Notebook real quick, do a print statement and see what happens. And then you just do one cell. You don't have to do this whole code. Does that make sense? Okay. So,
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Now that we're here, so, okay, so I went to Google Colab, right? You just type into Google, like Google Colab or Colab, whatever, right? I'm going to choose a file, and I'm going to choose that file that we just made, that Jupyter Notebook that we just made. So here's the idea. Jupyter Notebooks and Google Colab notebooks are the same kind of file extension, right? They're interactive Python notebooks. That's the point. So I want to come down to Robert Browning. I'm going to go to PyCharm projects. I'm going to go to RU 2020 and see, you can see my untitled Python notebook that I just made. This is the one we just made a second ago. Okay. I'm going to open this up and you're going to see it here. Okay. So you can see this literally looks almost identical to what you just saw a minute ago. You got this little run cell thing here, blah, blah, blah. Here's the important part. Two things. Number one, actually three things, if I can remember all of them. Okay. Number one, Jupyter notebooks use the packages and Anaconda that you have installed on your machine. Okay. Jupyter notebooks, specifically this Jupyter notebooks right here, use all of the packages and all of that stuff that you have installed on your machine. Google Colab, on the other hand, does not. Google Colab is going to install everything you need on the fly and it's going to run. So my point is this: if you find yourself having problems with package dependencies or version numbers or anything like that, you can always hop over to Google Colab and it will solve all of those problems for you so that you can weed out package dependency problems from actual code problems. Does that make sense to everyone? It's a very powerful tool. By using Google Colab notebooks, you can weed out all of those dependency problems, okay? Now, the second thing is this. If you do decide to use Google Colab and you decide to actually run real code on it, okay? Everything's going to be deleted after 24 hours, right? Everything, I think it only lasts for 24 hours or something like that. Okay, so be careful if you want to run something overnight and then you come back to check, it may be gone, right? Now, the most important thing is this. Until we get access to the Newton cluster, which has GPUs on it, you can come on here to the Google Colab notebook, come down here, change runtime type, and see where it says right now, hardware accelerator. You can select a GPU or even a TPU for free. So I can run all of my code from now on with GPU support. So for example, in that assignment 0 thing that I gave you guys, this MNIST classification, whatever, if you ran this locally on your machine, I encourage you to do this on a Google Colab notebook and compare the difference. It's way faster with a GPU. You can even do it on a Colab notebook. You've probably, if you ran this on a Colab notebook already, try changing it from what you had by default and then add a GPU and look at the difference of how much faster it is, okay? Now, these aren't the fastest GPUs in the world. They're just like they're old GPUs that Google uses, but it's better than nothing and it will be much faster, okay?
Is it, oh, sorry. Is it TPU a tensor processing unit.
Yeah, tensor processing unit. Yeah, which is kind of it ended up superseding GPUs, but who knows how all that works. I'm not a hardware guy. So that's pretty much it for today. Does anybody have any questions?
1 second, I'm sorry. Can we show again how to change it to GPU? Like, how do you click to change it?
Definitely. Let me check if I have that in my presentation. I actually know I don't. Okay, you come up here to runtime.
Mm-hmm.
Change runtime type.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
And you can come over here. Yeah, game changer. Okay.
Okay.
So, okay.
Yeah.
So I think that's it for today. Yeah, I think that's it for today. Let's check the schedule for tomorrow real quick. So tomorrow, Dr. Lobo is going to be doing convolutional neural networks from 10 to 11:30. And then starting at 11:30, we're going to start actually just doing some programming stuff. Okay. Cool. Robert, what's up? Is that a question or is that a see you later?
I mean, it's like a unrelated question from this, but like you and Tess both have like the terminals with the transparent background and green text. How do y'all do that?
Bro, you jealous?
I have a Mac. I'm trying to figure out how you did it.
All right, here, hold on. Can you see what I got here?
Yeah.
Okay, come up here to terminal, go to preferences here. I mean, it looks way more like I know what I'm doing, doesn't it? And then you come over here to homebrew and you select this, right? And then you come down here and make that the default.
You can do the same thing with Windows command prompt by typing color A, but it doesn't look as cool.
Well, I mean, because it's Windows, but.
Ouch.
Don't worry, there's more where that came from, buddy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like Windows Subsystem for Linux actually does that stuff, but I don't know. Just like if you want to use like the basic Windows command prompt to make it do this, yeah, you're kind of stuck with that color.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, let me know if you have any questions before tomorrow. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Okay. See you guys later. Have a good night.
Peace.
Look at all the animals.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.